15 accountants gave up, but a humble delivery girl revealed a life-changing truth to the million. Maya was like a shooting star, darting through her struggling neighborhood on her beat-up bike. At just 22, she was the lifeline for her single mother and younger brother, juggling deliveries like a circus performer. Each meal she dropped off was more than just food, it was a promise that they could make ends meet. But the weight of her dreams felt heavy on her shoulders, crushed beneath the glaring reality of economic inequality. One afternoon, while pedaling down the gritty streets, Maya caught sight of the community center. It was a rundown building, desperately in need of paint and funds. Still, inside those walls, kids learned and played, finding hope where the streets offered little. With every delivery, Maya forged connections with veterans who shared their tales of resilience and heartache. The bond was magnetic. They spoke in whispers of battles fought and won, not just on the field, but in life. On a particular delivery, she approached the sleek glass towers of a prestigious firm. The accountants, 15 of them, seemed like soldiers at the front lines of a war against corporate demands, their smiles replaced by frowns. As Maya stepped into the lobby, she overheard snippets of frustration that felt achingly familiar: overworked, underappreciated, and unsure of their purpose. Instead of retreating, she gathered her courage and walked up to them. "Hey," she said, her voice steady but raw. "I know what it's like to feel trapped. But the real struggles keep us grounded. Street by street, we're building community." Her honesty hung in the air, a simple truth that resonated deeply. "Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen." Now let's continue. Maya's sincerity sparked something within the accountants, a flicker of hope in their otherwise dim worlds. As she spoke a passionate fire in her heart, they began questioning their own choices, their privileges, and the impact of their hard work. Inspired, they banded together, determined to raise funds for the community center, to offer after-school programs that could change lives, including Maya's. But just as everything seemed to thrive, the upper management caught wind of their initiative. They struck like thunderclouds, intent on halting the accountants' momentum, snuffing out the light of community spirit. This wasn't just another battle. It was a fight for dignity, for the souls that the system tried to silence. Maya stood at the crossroads of hope and despair, her dreams hanging by a thread. The community celebration felt electric, full of laughter and joy, but looming shadows of uncertainty crept in. Would the firm's pressure extinguish their hard-won progress? Could her voice continue to inspire change, or would the weight of economic injustice crush them all? As doubt lingered like a heavy fog, Maya took a deep breath, knowing the fight was far from over. She was ready to face the storm ahead, standing firm in the belief that together, a vibrant community could resurrect the dreams that society had tried to bury. The next morning, the sun rose bright and bold, spilling golden light over the community center. Maya pedaled her bike toward it, fueled by a mix of apprehension and determination. The echoes of last night's celebrations still hummed in her mind: the laughter, the plans, the solidarity they'd built. But with every push of the pedal, anxiety gripped her heart. What if the firm's upper management had already begun to undermine their efforts? As she arrived, she found the center buzzing with activity. The kids were already there, lighting up the space with their laughter and enthusiasm. Their joy seemed to chase away the shadows of doubt clouding her thoughts. She stepped inside, her spirit lifting slightly as she spotted Mr. Rivera, the center's director, rallying volunteers. "Maya! Just the person I wanted to see," he called, waving her over. "What's going on?" she asked, concern tightening her voice. "We have to plan for the upcoming fundraiser," he said briskly, his eyes glinting with purpose. "We need to crush the office barriers and make this community center a beacon of hope. How many more deliveries do you think you can handle?" "I'll do whatever it takes," she replied, the steadfastness spilling from her lips. Deep down, She knew they couldn't let the upper management's pressure win. Together, they mapped out strategies to rally more support, reaching out to local businesses and residents. Maya's network grew. Every delivery was no longer just a meal, it was a call to action. With each box she dropped off, she spoke passionately about the fundraiser. The thrill of possibilities ignited her, and soon people began to respond, eager to contribute. But the looming threat from corporate management had not faded. That afternoon, Maya received an unexpected call from one of the accountants, Lisa, who had been deeply moved by their conversation. "Maya, I'm worried," she said, her voice shaky. "They're watching us closely. We have to be careful." "Careful? I'm not sure that's enough," Maya said, heart racing. "We can't let them silence us." "I agree," Lisa hurriedly replied, "but we need a plan. We can't just jump into a fight without preparing ourselves." Maya thought about their past meeting, the connections they'd made. What if we gather support from the people who come to the community center? Let them know what's happening. The voices of the people are powerful. Absolutely, Lisa responded with newfound determination. If we can get enough people behind this, they won't be able to ignore us. We'll stand our ground together. Maya felt her spirits surge. Maybe, just maybe, this wasn't a lonely battle. She had the power to throw back the very shadows threatening to engulf them. As days blurred into nights, Maya worked tirelessly, rallying support from both the community and the accountants. Posters plastered the neighborhood, hope spread through conversations, and the excitement of the upcoming fundraiser electrified the air. The night before the event, she gathered with a group of local kids and volunteers, pinning banners together, laughter mingling with the scent of pizza. But late that night, an email alert flashed on her phone. It was from Lisa. "They're closing in, we need to meet now." Maya's heart plummeted. The urgency in Lisa's message felt like icy fingers gripping her gut. Just when it seemed they were standing strong, darker forces loomed, ready to strike. As she looked around, she realized their moment was at an edge, trembling, precariously poised between hope and despair. What would they risk to protect their dreams? How far would they go to ensure their voices echoed beyond the confines of corporate constraints? With a deep breath, she readied herself to face whatever lay ahead, knowing she had to act fast. Something told her a storm was brewing, and it was time to stand not just for dreams, but for each other. Maya stood at the community center, her heart racing as she tapped her foot impatiently. The phone call from Lisa had rattled her. She felt the weight of the challenge pressing down, but she couldn't let fear dictate her actions. She knew that fear only strengthened the very walls they were trying to break down. Gathering her thoughts, she pushed her worries aside and focused on what needed to be done. "Okay, I've got to meet Lisa," she muttered to herself, grabbing her bike and pedaling toward her office. The cool breeze wrapped around her, but it did little to soothe the heat of urgency surging through her. When she pulled up to the small office complex, her thoughts raced. Would Lisa have news about countermeasures from upper management? What could they possibly have to face? Headquarters had long overlooked the potential of the community center, but it seemed that now they were paying attention, not the kind of attention they wanted. Maya spotted Lisa sitting on a bench outside, tapping her fingers nervously against her phone. When she saw Maya, her expression shifted from anxious to determined. "I'm so glad you came," she said, jumping to her feet. "What's happening?" Maya asked, dread pooling in her stomach. "They're moving fast. The management is planning a corporate event on the same day as our fundraiser. They want to siphon off any attention we might get." Lisa's voice trembled but held fierce tenacity. "They're trying to undermine us, Maya." Maya's heart sank. The timing felt like a cruel twist of fate. Out of all the days, why did it have to be this one? She clenched her fists, the taste of disappointment sharp in her mouth. "We can't let them win. We have to turn this into a rallying cry." Lisa nodded, her eyes wide. "Exactly. If we can show our community's support, they can't ignore us. But we need a plan, something that will outshine their event. We need to create excitement, draw crowds, and bring the whole community into our corner." An idea sparked in Maya's mind. What if we invite local musicians to perform? We could pack the space with people, make it a full-on festival. If we get local businesses involved with food trucks or booths, it'll create a positive buzz. Lisa's eyes lit up. I love it! If we make the fundraiser feel like a celebration, people will come to support us instead of being swayed by corporate glitz. Suddenly, a new thought hit Maya. What if they utilized social media to amplify their message? Community members could post videos sharing why the center mattered to them. It had the potential to go viral. We could create a hashtag. Let us get everyone to share their stories about the community center, the impact it's had. Yes. We need to rally the community like never before, Lisa agreed, her enthusiasm infectious. They could turn the tide if they used every tool at their disposal. Maya took a deep breath, relief washing over her. The plan felt not just achievable, but necessary. She felt empowered, driven by the voices around her, the passion of the kids at the center, and the unity of friends and neighbors. Leaving the office, a fire ignited within Maya, a fire that would fuel her and the community in the days ahead. She glanced at Lisa, a smile breaking through the tension. Let us do this. Together. As they strutted back into the heart of the community center, the energy shifted. Children played, laughter rippled, and chatter filled the air. The impending storm couldn't touch the spirit they embodied. But right as Maya was about to share the new plan with the volunteers, her phone buzzed again. It was a text from a number she didn't recognize. You're treading on dangerous ground, Maya. There are consequences for opposing the firm. Consider this your warning. The words sent a shiver down her spine. Everything felt even riskier now. Were they ready to face not just uncertainty, but potential retaliation? Gathering her resolve, Maya knew her fight had just begun. The questions loomed large. Was she prepared for the battles ahead? How far were they willing to go for what they believed in? Maya took a step back, her heart racing. The warning lingered in her mind, threatening to overshadow their newfound excitement. She glanced at Lisa, who was chatting with a group of volunteers. Each laugh and smile from those kids brought her a sense of normalcy, but the shadow of that text loomed large. Do you think we should tell the team about the message? Maya asked Lisa quietly, pulling her away from the group. Lisa frowned, noting the urgency in Maya's eyes. Maybe we hold off for now. We need their spirits high. If they feel the pressure, it could scare them away. Maya bit her lip. With each word Lisa spoke, Maya felt the weight of the decision. But if they find out later, it might feel like we hid something important from them. Lisa raised an eyebrow, clearly wrestling with her own thoughts. True, but we can't let fear take control. We need the vibe to be positive. We can handle whatever comes our way. That settled it. For now, Maya decided to conceal the warning, though doubt crept in like a low tide. She forced a smile as she joined the group, eager to share their bold plan. All right, everyone. We want to turn our fundraiser into a festival, she announced, clapping her hands to grab attention. Live music, local food, and a spotlight for our amazing community. We'll showcase what makes this center special. Excited whispers filled the room. Volunteers rallied around her, brainstorming ideas and delving into efficient organization. Each spark of creativity ignited hope within Maya, overshadowing the unease from the message. Over the next few days, they worked tirelessly. Posters adorned the community center walls, music echoed through the halls during rehearsals, and kids eagerly signed up for performances. Small businesses donated food and supplies, eager to support their beloved center. Maya felt alive with purpose, surrounded by laughter and anticipation. Yet, she couldn't shake the feeling that danger lurked in shadows, waiting to disrupt their dreams. As the fundraiser approached, stress levels soared. Maya had become a whirlwind of energy, but the warning loomed like a distant thundercloud. She had barely slept, her mind replaying every detail, every event they had planned. Images of packed crowds and joyful faces mingled with thoughts of retaliation from corporate. Hey, Lisa interrupted during one frenetic planning session. You look wiped out. We're all counting on you, but you need to take care of yourself, too. Maya smiled wearily at her friend. I know. It's just so much. Don't worry. Remember, we're together in this. We can handle whatever comes our way. Lisa placed a reassuring hand on Maya's shoulder. Maya took a deep breath, letting the warmth of friendship settle. You're right. We have each other. The night of the fundraiser arrived, and excitement buzzed in the air. Lights twinkled, the scent of food filled every corner, and laughter rang like a joyous symphony. The community center had transformed vibrant and alive, but as Maya stepped back for a moment, watching people gather, a sudden flicker caught her eye. A group of men in suits stood nearby, their faces stoic and focused. She recognized them. They were from upper management. Suddenly, her heart raced with renewed anxiety. Were they there to crush their hopes? To enforce that warning text she received? Feeling the pressure compound, she couldn't shake the thought. What if this was just the beginning, sparking a confrontation she wasn't ready for? Emotion swelled in her chest as she turned back to the bustling crowd. Their joy filled her with determination, urging her to stand firm. Maya had one goal: to protect her community at all costs. As the music kicked off, she stepped forward, ready to embrace the night ahead. But the lingering menacing presence weighed heavy on her mind. They may have shown up, but she wasn't backing down. Little did she know, the fight was just starting. And as the first notes filled the air, the stage was set for something far beyond just a fundraiser. Would the presence of corporate power tip the scales, or could the heart of the community prevail? As the first notes sliced through the air, Maya felt a spark ignite within her. The excited chatter, the happy faces, the vibrant lights, it all underscored why they had worked so tirelessly. But every smile she saw brought her back to that moment in the shadows when the corporate suits stepped through the community center doors. Were they going to make an announcement? Or worse, dismantle everything she had built? She turned her head slightly, trying to catch a glimpse of what they were doing, but they remained huddled together, whispering amongst themselves. It made her stomach churn with worry. She took a deep breath and pushed the anxiety aside. She had friends, volunteers, and the community right there with her. They needed her to focus, to keep their spirits high. As the first band in the lineup kicked off their set, a group of kids whirled past, laughter spilling from their lips. Their joy was infectious, and it reignited Maya's determination. With renewed resolve, she changed her focus back to the stage. This was a celebration, a chance to spotlight everything they loved about their center. This song is for everyone who believes in community, the lead singer shouted, and the crowd erupted into cheers. Maya found herself clapping along, swept up in the moment. She needed to drive the worry away, just for tonight, and let the happiness flood in. Yet every few minutes, her eyes would dart back to the men in suits. One of them, a stocky man with slicked back hair, had begun wandering closer to the food stalls. A chill ran down her spine. What if they were on a mission to undermine her? She caught Lisa's eye and motioned toward the men, her stomach twisting. Lisa's brow furrowed as she followed her gaze. "Stay close," Lisa said, almost as a whisper. There was a promise of solidarity in her voice, a reminder that they were in this together. As the night unfolded, the moment everyone had been anticipating finally arrived, the highlight performance featuring the local dance troupe. The energy in the room tingled with anticipation as they took their place on the center stage. Dressed in colorful outfits, the kids smiled brightly, sharing a secret between them that Maya wished she could grasp. The music began, pulsating through the community center like a heartbeat. The children moved with joy and enthusiasm, telling a story of unity and resilience through their dance. Maya felt the weight of her concerns slowly start to lift with each electrifying beat. Then, out of the corner of her eye, she saw movement. The stocky man approached the stage, whispering something urgently into a walkie-talkie. Panic surged in her. Was this it? Was he here to shut them down? "Stay with the kids," she told Lisa, turning to face the stage again. She couldn't let fear dictate her actions now, not when they were so close to making their vision a reality. Maya stepped away from the crowd, headed towards the men. Each step felt heavy, but she pushed forward, teeth gritted in determination. She needed to confront them. "Excuse me," she called out, her voice steady but her heart racing. They looked up, surprised. "What are you doing here?" The stocky man turned, an eyebrow raised. We're evaluating, he started, then hesitated, perhaps gauging her intensity. This was the moment. Her community deserved an answer, and she wasn't going to stand by while threats loomed. Evaluating? She echoed, her voice rising slightly. I don't think you need to evaluate a room full of joy and hope speaks for itself. We're not going to let anyone undermine what we're building here. His face tightened. The tension in the air prickled as the music faded into the background, the crowd suddenly sensing that something was amiss. But before he could respond, that familiar spark of determination replaced her fear. They wouldn't back down. They couldn't. What if their presence meant something more than just a threat? What if they were there to challenge their mission in a way they hadn't anticipated? As her heart raced, a new fear struck her. What if they planned to leverage this moment to crush everything she loved? Maya stood her ground, ready for whatever came next. Would she be able to navigate the storm brewing at the festival? Or was this confrontation a sign that all their hard work was about to unravel? The stocky man eyed Maya, a smirk creeping onto his face. You're brave, I'll give you that. His tone was menacing, but Maya refused to flinch. Adrenaline surged through her, sharpening her senses. She could feel the crowd behind her, their energy a firm backing she had never anticipated needing. Bravery isn't enough, he continued, taking a step closer. You're in over your head, Maya. This isn't just a festival. This is about money, power, and influence. Things you don't understand. A wave of uneasy murmurs rippled through the audience, but Maya caught Lisa's eye again. There was a steadiness there, a resolve that pushed her to stand even taller. No, I do understand. I understand people. I understand what this center means to our community. Each word resonated, the passion in her voice reverberating in the air around them. The stocky man crossed his arms, lingering on her words, but there was a flash of irritation in his gaze. Listen to me carefully. We were sent here to assess the viability of this place. If it continues to operate at a loss, it won't last. Understand? We hold the power to shut it down. His words hung heavy, wrapping her in a web of panic. But alongside the fear, a fire ignited within her. She wouldn't let them take this away. You think profit margins can measure our community's worth? She shot back, her voice getting stronger. You think a balance sheet can show what we've built here? His eyes narrowed, and a cold smile spread across his face. Feelings don't pay the bills. And this joy you see? It's not sustainable. The music in the back faded to a dull thump, the crowd now observing the confrontation with bated breath. Maya's heart thudded against her chest, fueled by the need to protect everything she had fought for. Maybe you should see it from our perspective, Lisa called out, stepping forward to join Maya. This center is a lifeline. People come here to connect, to find hope. It's not just about dollars and cents, it's about lives. The crowd's energy shifted, murmurs of agreement spreading like wildfire. Maya's heart soared. Hope wasn't just a feeling. It was tangible in that moment, pulsing through the gathered crowd. The stocky man shifted uncomfortably, the smirk on his face faltering as he surveyed the collective spirit around him. Your enthusiasm won't change the facts. You might have them behind you today, but in the end, this is a business. Maya took a step closer, her voice steady, firm. Then we'll show you what a community can do. If you dismiss us, you'll see what it looks like when a community stands together. We won't let fear take our dreams. As she spoke, the crowd erupted in cheers, clapping and chanting their support. The festival atmosphere returned, enveloping them all like a protective shield. But even as Maya felt the electricity of unity coursing through her veins, a new fear surfaced. If this man could gather data and resources, what else did he know? What was his next move? The stocky man watched the crowd, weighing his next words carefully. Well then, you've made your case. But remember, my assessment is just one part of a bigger picture. You might not have the strength you think you do, and with that, he started to turn away, but Maya's instincts screamed to keep him there. Wait! She shouted. He paused, glancing back with an intrigued expression, a faint flicker of curiosity breaking his cold demeanor. "What if I made you a deal?" His voice was low, tinged with a challenge. Maya's heart raced. Was this an opportunity or a trap? Feeling the weight of the moment, she forged ahead. What kind of deal? The tension in the air thickened, a crossroads looming ahead, and Maya found herself heart-pounding with anticipation for what might unfold next. Could this gamble redefine her fight for the community? Or would she end up losing everything she had worked for? His eyes gleamed with a mix of amusement and calculation. "Let us make this interesting," he said, folding his arms across his chest again. "I propose a wager." Maya swallowed hard, the words simmering in the air like a charged storm. "Wager? What do you have in mind?" The stocky man leaned in slightly, lowering his voice to a conspiratorial tone. "You rally your little community here. Prove to me that your center can thrive, not just survive, for the next 6 months. If you succeed, I'll leave you alone. But if you fail," his smile sharpened, "the center closes. Forever." Gasps filled the air behind her, the crowd stunned into silence. Maya's thoughts raced, her mind battling a storm of emotions. 6 months. That was an eternity, and yet it felt like the clock was ticking faster than ever. She glanced back at Lisa, who wore an expression that mirrored her own, fear and determination all in one. "What is it going to be, Maya?" he pressed, his voice cutting through the gathered murmurs. "It's like I said, this is a business. You either generate profit, or you don't exist. Make a choice." Maya held his gaze, searching for weakness but finding only confidence. She clenched her fists, feeling the familiar fire within her rise. This was a high-stakes game, no doubt, but the stakes had never felt more real. She had to protect her family, her friends, and the spirit of the community she cherished. "All right," she breathed deeply, surprising even herself with her conviction. "I'll take your bet. 6 months. But listen closely." She stepped closer, her voice steady. "We won't just survive, we'll thrive. And when we win, you'll stop trying to tear us apart. Deal?" He smirked, a crooked grin that sent shivers down her spine. "Deal. But I'll be watching closely, Maya. Don't disappoint me." With that, he turned on his heel and walked away, leaving a trail of uncertainty behind him. The crowd erupted into a frenzied mix of excitement and anxiety, a wave of energy crashing over Maya. She felt exhilarated, scared, and alive all at once. "Did you really just agree to that?" Lisa asked, her eyes wide with both admiration and concern. "I had to," Maya replied, breathless. "We can't let him tear us down without a fight. This is our moment." The crowd began to rally around them, galvanizing into planning and brainstorming. Ideas flew like fireworks, laughter and energy igniting the air. Yet deep inside, anxiety gnawed at Maya. What if they couldn't meet the challenge? What resources would they tap? In the days that followed, as she worked together with her community to flip their fate, Maya embraced every facet of their struggle. She spoke passionately to anyone willing to listen. They set up workshops, gathered more volunteers, and started reaching out to local businesses for help. "We can't just wait," she insisted. "We need to show that we matter." Through it all, she found hope in the little victories: a new donation, a positive talk with someone who believed in their cause. Each step built a staircase of determination, pushing them higher. But towering over her every effort was the unwavering shadow of the stocky man. The pressure felt relentless. On one particularly hectic evening, as Maya sorted through paperwork in the dim light of the center, she couldn't shake off the anxiety that wrapped around her like a heavy blanket. Was the community's effort enough? Would they truly survive this challenge? Then, just as she was about to close up for the night, a message pinged on her phone. It was from Lisa, buzzing with excitement. "You'll never guess what just happened. Meet me at the center. Hurry!" Maya's heart raced. She grabbed her coat and headed outside, under the glow of the streetlights, feeling the pulse of possibility drive her forward. What news awaited? As she approached the center, a bright light flooded through the doors, shadows dancing around her. Excitement gripped her. Stepping inside, she took a deep breath, feeling the energy crackle in the air. It was a moment of truth, and the stakes had never felt higher. What could Lisa possibly have uncovered that would change everything? The chaos swirled, and her heart beat like a drum. Each second stretched out, heavy with promise and fear. Would this be the break they needed, or merely another twist in their uphill battle? The answer loomed just ahead, and she was ready to dive into whatever awaited her. Maya stepped into the center, the vibrant light striking her with a wave of warmth. The room buzzed with laughter and animated chatter, something she desperately craved, a sense of belonging and unity. Her eyes instinctively searched for Lisa. As she spotted her friend, Lisa waved excitedly, waving off nearby conversations that momentarily halted to gaze at the newcomer. "You won't believe what I found," Lisa exclaimed, her smile wide enough to light up the room. "What is it? What happened?" Maya asked, catching her breath. The anticipation was unbearable. "Remember those old financial records we dug up last week?" Lisa pointed to a cluttered table stacked with folders and papers. "Well, I found something significant." She flipped open one of the worn binders, the pages fluttering slightly. "If we can correct these accounting mistakes from the past 2 years, we might actually qualify for additional grants we didn't even know existed." Maya leaned over the folder, eyes scanning the documents. It felt like a door had suddenly opened, revealing a potential path forward. "Grants? Really? You think they'll consider us after everything?" Her heart raced, hope beginning to flicker. "Not just think. If we present this correctly, they may even prioritize us," Lisa said, her fingers tapping excitedly on a spreadsheet filled with numbers. "But it means we have to act quickly. We can't let this slip." Maya nodded vigorously. "Let's get to work." The thrill of possibility surged within her. They gathered a small team, a mix of familiar faces and new volunteers, all fueled by the newfound urgency. As the group dove into the numbers, laughter mixed with intense focus. Maya joined in brainstorming, drawing up proposals, and planning meetings with potential funders. Readers of the room felt the spark. People who once hesitated were now invested, bringing their ideas and skills to the table. But doubt crept in as the clock ticked. Every meeting began to feel like a tightrope walk. Would they gather enough details to make their case? Would the stocky man still be waiting in the shadows, ready to pounce on any weaknesses? Amid the excitement, Maya found herself pausing every so often. She caught a glimpse of her reflection in one of the windows. The determination she saw there was mixed with a lingering fear. What if she was pushing them into the deep end? What if they couldn't pull off this plan? Then, Lisa approached her, sensing Maya's hesitation. "Hey, I know this feels like a lot. But remember, we have something he doesn't: heart, connection, and the drive to lift each other up." The sincerity in Lisa's voice stirred something within her, an affirmation of the bond they shared and the strength of their community. The next few weeks passed in a blur. They gathered information, polished their grant proposals, and rehearsed pitches like a well-orchestrated play. Each evening, they dedicated hours, fueled by takeout and caffeine, diving deeper into the project with unwavering resolve. The moment of truth approached swiftly as the deadline loomed for submission. Tension hung thick in the air, thick enough to slice with a knife. They huddled together at the center once more, documents spread everywhere, nerves coiling tight like springs. Maya began to gather everyone's attention, her voice cutting through the anxiety. "This isn't just about our center. It's about all of us. We can show them who we are and what we stand for." Her heart pounded. Could she truly rally everyone around this vision? Just then, there was a sharp knock at the door. All heads turned as the stocky man stood in the doorway, arms crossed, an unsettling grin plastered across his face. "Heard you all were busy. What's going on here?" A shockwave rippled through the room. The atmosphere shifted instantly, tension clashing with uncertainty. Maya felt the punch of dread, but she stood taller, rallying her courage. "What's your business here?" she shot back, determined not to show fear. He stepped in, the weight of his presence looming. "Just scouting my competition, that's all. Hope you're ready for the challenge ahead." The community felt the shift. Would this be the moment the man would launch at them, or was there something more happening beneath the surface? Maya's heart raced as anticipation filled the air. The bet was on, but the stakes were far from over. Each soul in that room felt connected, a bond that neither doubt nor intimidation could break. Would this encounter lead to their demise, or propel them on the path to a brighter future? Their answer loomed nearer, shrouded in uncertainty. What would happen next? Maya stood her ground, eyes locked on the man who had intruded on their hopeful atmosphere. Every heartbeat seemed to echo in the silence, the tension a living thing wrapping around them. The rest of the group mirrored Maya's resolve, faces a mix of fear and defiance. Why do you care? Lisa challenged, stepping forward, a reminder that they weren't alone in this battle. If you're not here to help us, then what's your real agenda? The man smirked, tilting his head. What can I say? I enjoy watching people fight against the inevitable. He looked around, his gaze lingering on the documents scattered across the table. You think a few numbers will save you? You're grasping at straws. Maya felt anger roar within her, sparking a flame of determination. These numbers represent hope. This isn't about desperation, it's about redemption. And we're not backing down. He shrugged as if her words were nothing more than background noise. You do you then. But remember, the clock is ticking, and I'm not the only obstacle you'll face. With that, he turned and walked out, leaving an icy silence in his wake. Maya's heart pounded. His words echoed in her mind like an unwelcome whisper. Was he right? Was the deadline a ticking time bomb, threatening their dream? She cast a glance at her friends, seeing the worry etched on their faces, uncertainty flickering in the depths of their eyes. Let us not let him get to us, Maya said, struggling to infuse optimism into her voice. We've worked too hard to let a bully shake our resolve. Let us focus. We can do this together. The team nodded, steeling themselves against the doubt. They were a family, woven together by shared purpose and passion, and they wouldn't let anyone tear that apart. As the hours rolled on, they plunged back into their work, poring over data and pitching ideas with renewed energy. The room buzzed again with laughter and chat. Maya could feel the shift, the sense of community binding them closer than before. They were more than just colleagues. They were a unit, fiercely guarding their shared dreams. In the midst of the chaos, a young volunteer, Aaron, raised his hand. Maybe we can also look into social media? The more people know about us, the more they can support us. We can create a campaign around our journey. His excitement was infectious. Yes, Lisa exclaimed. A chance to connect deeper with the community. We need their hearts behind us, not just their funds. Maya felt a surge of hope. Let us do it. We can share our story, our struggles, and how these grants could change our center and help so many people. Days swiftly passed as they crafted their social media campaign, sharing their story through posts, videos, and live updates. The community began to rally around them, and messages of encouragement flooded in. Each heartfelt comment, each like on their posts reinvigorated their spirits. They were no longer just a struggling center, they were a movement. However, with all the excitement, the looming deadline nudged closer. Maya's stomach twisted as she glanced at the clock. We need to submit before it's too late. We're almost there, but we can't afford to slip up now. Just as they assembled the final pieces of their proposal, another knock shattered her focus. It was the stocky man, but this time with a dossier in hand. Impressive work you've done here, he said, surprising everyone. What do you want? Maya asked, suspicion tinged her tone. I'm here to offer a deal. Maya's heart soared and dropped at the same time. What could he possibly want? Was this a chance for help, or a further threat? The stakes were higher than ever. What does he really have in mind? Could they find common ground or open old wounds once more? The clock was still ticking, and the future hung in balance. As the tension crackled in the room, Maya stared hard at the stocky man. The boldness of his entrance, and the heavy dossier in his hands screamed of ulterior motives. What do you mean, a deal? She asked, her voice steadier than she felt. He opened the folder, flicking through pages filled with numbers and assessments. Your proposal shows promise, but I still need to see more. If you want to convince the board to support your center, they'll want evidence that you can generate income. I can help you with that. The room fell quiet. Help us? Why would you do that? Maya raised an eyebrow, unwilling to back down. Let us just say I have an interest in seeing this center succeed, at least on the surface. If you're willing to play this game by my rules, we can reach an agreement that benefits us both. Unease stirred in the air. Maya glanced at her friends. Lisa's eyes widened, fear creeping in. This could be a trap, a puppet master pulling on dangling strings, trying to control everything she loved. Your help seems suspicious, Maya asserted, her heart racing. What's the catch? Simple, he smirked. I want a seat at the table. In exchange for my connections and resources, I need to be a part of the management committee. I believe that is fair. Maya clenched her fists, struggling with the thought. Could they risk letting him in? Did this man truly want to help, or was this just a twisted attempt at control? What do you think, everyone? She asked, looking around at her team. But what if he is just trying to undermine our progress? Lisa interjected, her voice taut with worry. We've fought too hard to let someone from the firm dictate our purpose. Exactly. Maya nodded, feeling the energy of those around her. We have come this far because of our community's voice, not because of a corporation's influence. The stocky man leaned in slightly, sensing the uncertainty. You can continue without my guidance, but remember, I'll always be watching from the sidelines. The challenge ahead is not easy, and I can assure you that the board will want results. Then, a voice from the back broke through the mounting tension. It was the little volunteer Aaron. But we've already shown that we're capable. We've rallied a community. We don't need your help to prove our worth. Maya felt the warmth of unity washing over her, validation blossoming in her chest. We're not just proving ourselves to the board, we're building a legacy for those who need this place. The stocky man shifted, annoyance brewing under his skin. The game's about winning or losing. You don't want to feel the heat of failure, trust me. Just know, while you're busy clinging to idealism, the clock keeps ticking. Maya took a step forward, empowered by the spirit of everyone gathered in the room. You want to see results? We're going to show you that strength comes from community, not control. We'll thrive, not just survive. With that, anticipation shimmered in the air. Would they leap into the unknown without safety nets or back down in fear? The choice lay heavy, but Maya found solace in the voices around her. Over the next few days they finalized their grand proposal, weaving an undeniable narrative that embodied hope, resilience, and community enforcement. The deadline approached, and with every submission click, Maya could feel a weight lift. The adrenaline was real. They had combined forces, triumphs over despair, working late into the night fueled by pizza and sheer passion. The following week, when the acceptance letter arrived, jubilant tears cascaded down her cheeks. They'd done it. Their work, their voice, their truth had won them another chance. In the celebration that followed, Maya felt the euphoria of unity and hope. They gathered in the center, surrounded by the community they'd fought for. She stood before them, her heart brimming with love, pride, and acceptance. You believed in this place. You believed in each other. Together, we proved that a community can rise. As cheers erupted, Maya recognized the journey had changed them all. They weren't just survivors, they were advocates of change, standing stronger than any corporate menace. And amidst the raucous laughter, the looming stocky man inched into the background, faded into the dove gray, as if his power had become utterly insignificant against the tapestry woven by their hearts. As Maya looked around, she felt the overwhelming warmth of a community bonded by struggle, hope, and transformation. They had proven that together, they could ignite a light that eclipsed any looming darkness. But more than that, they had embraced the beauty of their journey, from despair to hope, from silence to a chorus of strength. This was the moment of their truth, a life-changing crescendo that continued to echo beyond the humble walls of their center, reaching into the lives they would touch, into future generations growing up with the same spirit. The fight was just the beginning. This is your chance to support this movement, just like the community supported Maya. Subscribe immediately to the channel to not miss the next exclusive stories that inspire. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm, because every interaction counts. Comment your feelings about this journey and celebrate Maya's resilience. Share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation. They deserve to know that together, we can overcome anything. You need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support. Don't wait not even one more second to share our story.